The gentleman is extending the anti-dynasty limitation to the SK officials to extend not only to the city municipality but also to the provincial level. The committee accepts that amendment, Mr. President.
Okay, so the word provincial is inserted on line, just for the clarification of the chair.
Line 23, sir.
Line 23.
Before elected.
So provincial,
After elected, sir.
yeah, after elected. So provincial,
Comma and comma.
provincial. Okay, the Pimentel amendment is accepted by the sponsor. Any objection? Yes, Senator Soto.
President, just for my clarification.
If the gentleman, the proponent, will yield.
Yes,
I yield, Mr. President.
thank you, Mr. President. When we say must not be related to any incumbent elected
As
official.
it stands now, it will read, and must not be related to any incumbent elected provincial, which is the addition, city, municipal, or barangay official
in the locality.
within the second civil degree of consanguinity or affinity.
In the localities.
That is as far as the legitimate family member is concerned. What about a mistress? The son of a mistress? We will be disallowing the legal member of the family from running, but you will be allowing the illegal.
Still,
Hindi po, dahil consanguinity.
if I may be allowed to answer, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator Pimentel, as the principal.
The illegitimate son of the parent is a relative within the second degree.
It's a blood relative.
What about the brother of the mistress, who is 17 years old?
That is not covered.
That's what I mean.
That's
Mr.
correct,
President.
Mr. President.
We will be disenfranchising a legitimate member of the family because he is an elected councilor or vice mayor or. But the brother.
The question of having to determine who is the mistress and who is not the mistress, which is
Maybe Senator Soto can consider the fact that such illegitimate relationships are never recognized in our system.
I know, yes, Mr. President.
I mean, that kind of mistress, unless
What about
except in the cases of illegitimate children who have rights under our law, common law relationship.
What about a common law wife, Mr.
A
President?
common law wife is not recognized under our
It's not recognized.
It's not recognized.
So therefore, the brother of a common law wife of a barangay captain can run.
That is correct, yes.
It's unfair.
Yes.
That is correct. He can run because why is national and local officials, why is the relationship, I'm sorry, why are relatives of national and local officials within the second civil degree of consanguinity or affinity exempted from the anti-dynasty rule?
The reasoning behind that was that they are national. Precisely because they are national officials, and this is concerned with the local government. There were suggestions in the past that we include congressmen, senators, and other national officials, but we felt it was not necessary. That it was sufficient that we identify local officials within that jurisdiction, so that to achieve the purpose of minimizing the nepotistic tendencies of some of our local officials.
Can the issue of equal protection of the laws be invoked here? you disqualify a number. You disqualify a number of relatives, but when it comes to relatives of national and local officials, they are qualified. A local official here, I assume, is the congressman.
Well, the congressman we consider as national officials.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
the
President.
national.
It is governors down, Mr. President.
Yes. The chair would like to raise the question: has the sponsor considered the issue of equal protection of the laws? You disqualify everybody except those related to national officials, the senators and the congressmen. Unless you can find a clear distinction, justification for a distinction, I would like to review whether or not it violates the equal protection of the laws.
We will do that, Mr. President, but off the top of my head, I think it could be argued that they are of a different category because they are national. And this bill is essentially concerned with the actuations of our local officials. And in fact, in the experience of the barangay, the SK rather, elections and the candidates for the SK positions, in fact, generally speaking, the national, there are very few instances, and we could not actually find a specific one, where a national figure or a national official was trying to involve themselves in a SK election. Therefore, we feel that excluding them, first, because by their very nature they are national elected officials and not local elected officials, that is sufficient for us to achieve our purpose. That again, that nepotism will not become part of the process.
Second question, with the permission of Senator Pimentel, what about relatives of appointed officials? Are they allowed to run?
We are silent on any. I believe the provision on nepotism would apply for that.
No,
election.
these are
Elected.
No, not in this.
no here.
Not in this law.
Only must not be related to any incumbent elected official.
Elected officials.
What about if they are related to appointed?
As it, Mr. President, as it is written, then they,
Yeah, that is why I'm raising the question.
As we have it now, Mr. President, the gentleman is right. We do not have any limitations on the relatives or the children, really, of the of appointed officials.
Would the sponsor consider an amendment which will delete elected and reinstate national?
Or we could add, Mr. President, elected or appointed.
Or elected or appointed? That's the same. That's the same.
If the chair would allow me, I'd like to make a few calculations and try to see how many this affects because baka maubusan na po tayo ng
Hindi
ating
naman.
magiging kandidato.
Hindi naman, 100 million tayong Pilipino. And 60% of that are qualified.
Certainly, Mr. President, we will look into the question of the national officials being included, the relatives or the children of the national officials being included in that in the first question that the chair raised. And of course, without any further study, Mr. President, I really have no great objections actually to the limitations of the children of the appointed officials as well. But let me come back with a more thorough study of the question.
So we hold that in abeyance.
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor.
So in
Thank
the
you,
mean-
Mr. President.
In the meantime, maybe I should.
Mr. President will defer since it is concerning the same, since The amendment of Senator Pimentel concerns the limitations on the children of officials. Maybe we can defer the inclusion of the word provincial for now. It is in principle already accepted, but so that the amendment that we will eventually make is more complete and the language will be the language will be more elegant.
All right. So we hold.
So if I need to formalize, I withdraw my proposed
All right.
amendment.
Withdrawn on the condition that it will be taken up again later as an entire section with the views of the chair being considered by the sponsor. So withdrawn.
So my next proposed amendment, Mr. President, is on page 9.
Amendment. So
Yeah, one by one.
let us dispose of that first.
Yes, sir.
We accept that deletion.
Deletion, Mr. President.
Provincial amendment is accepted. Any objection? Hearing none. Approved.
And on the same page, on line 15, that we realign, no? We rephrase line 15 by deleting the words capability, building, and then inserting comma after sports development, comma, and inserting the phrase capability building, which emphasizes leadership training.
So for clarification, Mr. President, the line will read resiliency, youth employment, life and livelihood, health and anti-drug abuse, gender sensitivity, sports development, and capability building with a
Which emphasizes
which
leadership
emphasizes. We accept, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none. Approved.
training. That would be all, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have some individual amendments to introduce, Mr. President. On page 21, line 23, after the letter H, delete the punctuation mark comma, and in lieu thereof, insert the conjunction and. So moved, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none. Approved.
On the same page and the line after, the letter I is deleted and the conjunction and. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
On the same page, line 24, delete the letter J. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
On page 29, line 1, after the letter H, delete the punctuation mark comma, and in lieu thereof, insert the conjunction and. So moved, Mr. President.
On line 20.
On line 25, on page 25,
Okay.
line 1, after the letter H, delete the punctuation mark comma, and in lieu thereof, insert the conjunction and. So moved, Mr. President. On the same page and line, after the letter I, delete the conjunction and the letter J. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
On page 35, line 1, delete the letter C, and in lieu thereof, insert the letter D, and reletter the succeeding subsections accordingly. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
On page 30, line 20, delete.
Page.
On page 30,
30.
line 20, delete the punctuation mark comma, and in lieu thereof, insert the punctuation mark period. So moved, Mr. President. On the same page, lines 20 and 21, delete the phrase, but in no case shall be more than 2 consecutive years, and in lieu thereof, insert the phrase, subject to the provision of section 24, paragraph G hereof. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
On page 42, line 16, delete the word June, and in lieu thereof, insert the word November. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
On the same page, lines 18 and 19, delete the phrase be. Delete the phrase be the terms of the term. Let me repeat. Delete the phrase be the term of office of the members of the council as established under this act shall commence at noon of 30th June of 2016. So moved, Mr. President.
Approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Those are the amendments I have for now.
So we shall, Mr. Majority Leader, there are other amendments that we discussed which you will present tomorrow, Senator Marcos.
That is right, Mr. President. So we can suspend the period of individual amendments for now.
With the consent of the